We've looked at a monopolistic competitor making an economic profit and explored why we should expect that that would go away because of the crab effect. It's easy in, easy out. So other people will come along and do what they're doing because they see that economic profit is there to be made. Again, an economic profit is above what you could otherwise be making doing your next best alternative. So then we went to an exaggerated state where so many people entered the market that demand fell for perfect competitors, and the firms were earning an economic loss. And since it's easy entrance, easy exit, we would expect that firms would leave, thereby raising demand for the survivors. And now, as promised, we're going to explore where we would expect the monopolistic competitor to land in equilibrium. I feel like I might have accidentally said perfect competitor a minute ago. I'm not sure if I did, but I'm talking about a monopolistic competitor. So if I did that, forget it. Substitute it. Those of you who have dub capability, you could take where I said the word monopolist and superimpose it over the word where I said perfect. If I accidentally said perfect, I didn't mean to. You can send me that video, okay? Give and take of firms coming and going, where we would expect that to leave us is let me put up the cost curves first, because this isn't changing for us. It's about the demand side changing. When demand was down here below average total cost, marginal revenue is way down here, they're making a loss. When demand is above average total cost, that means the price they can get is in excess of their cost per unit, so they're making an economic profit. So where we expect the monopolistic competitor to be residing in equilibrium looks something like this. Demand is downward sloping, and it should just kiss average total cost. Technically speaking, a more technical term than kiss is is tangent to average total cost. And that happens right at the place, let's say that is here, where marginal revenue, I missed. This is hard. This is the hardest one to draw. Right where marginal revenue there crosses marginal cost. And that's important because this is where they'll produce, right? Every time. That's the equilibrium quantity. And I have to have these things vertically aligned because look what's going on up here. If this is where they're tangent, this is right where the price is equal to the cost per unit. So here, they're not earning an economic profit right at this point, or right at this quantity. Total cost is equal to total revenue. But there's still a bit of a problem with this. Relative to the perfect competitor, we have, as a society, we are still not getting this good at its lowest possible cost. Because its lowest possible cost is right here. The minimum of average total cost, which is always where marginal cost crosses it. The perfect competitor looked like this. Remember that? That type of firm is producing right at the minimum of average total cost. So that society is getting the good or service at the lowest possible cost of inputs to make it happen. Here, our society is not. Put differently, along our demand curve, you have people willing and able to pay for additional units to be made, just like in monopoly. But there's no reason for them to be made there because for the firm, making the next unit would cost more than it brings in. So this is where we expect to be, and we expect to have this inefficiency. This inefficiency from here, the minimum of average total cost, that would be the optimum quantity in the sense that society could get the good or service for its lowest possible cost. But this is the quantity they're going to get. So this gap between here and there is called excess capacity. The firm could increase production, but it's not going to. It has the means to do it. It has the grill space. It has the freezer space. It has the floor space, the shelf space, whatever it is. But it's not doing it because people are willing to pay for the next unit to be produced, but making that unit is not profitable for the firm because demand is not above average total cost. It's just the structure that we and they face. And so economists aren't in love with this because we're not getting goods and services at the minimum of average total cost. Now, I've given this more thought than I probably should have with our coronavirus issues. And from the firm's point of view, this excess capacity is, as I said, it's their ability. They could make more, but they don't have any reason to do it. They don't have any reason to bring in these workers and ramp up production beyond Q star, except that they're looking at it as, well, if demand rises, I want to make sure I'm able to address high fluctuations with high demand so that I can go ahead and be profitable and I don't have to turn people away or something like that. And in our current situation with coronavirus, it gives me I've personally have had a greater appreciation of excess capacity. Some places, some of the competitors specifically related to fast food, the non-fast food sector, the low price point restaurants, say Olive Garden, and I go to La Tolteca in Salisbury. We've been there a few times recently. More traditional restaurants, which may or may not be chains, their demand is way down because a lot of them closed because they're dine-in only. Those that are doing curbside service are not really serving as many meals in most cases as they would have before the coronavirus issue because people don't really want to go into those. But people are really shifting over. Demand is way up for fast food, drive-thrus especially, right? You don't have to. You just do the drive-through. You're getting it's a little more convenient than curbside, I suspect. And when I have gone in and gotten to-go food from the restaurants that I have to open a door and go in a building. Drive-through, you can sit there with your car window open. People, I think, feel a little safer about it. So demand for, and I know this because I never eat fast food, but I've eaten fast food, I believe, you say 3 times since coronavirus started, which is more than probably I had in the past decade combined. Demand is way up for these things, but they're able to handle that. I mean, I saw a line at Chick-fil-A that wrapped all the way around the building in a corkscrew, but they're getting it done. So I kind of have personally a newfound appreciation for excess capacity with what we're going through now. This is a little unique, and that's not a consensus, certainly not a consensus among economists about excess capacity of monopolistic competition. But I don't know. For me, it's been food for thought. And really, that's about all I have to say about the monopolistic competitor. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.